discussing report with you guys yesterday. So let's quickly discuss email. Okay, firstly, what is an email? I assume everybody here knows what email is.
Ma'am, an email is a form of formal communication which can be done between business communication or even something which we need to send to another person in a formal way.
Okay, yes. Email is firstly short for electronic mail, one of the most common forms of formal communication, yeah, in terms of academics or even job and professional settings, yeah. So generally, you don't send emails in a more casual setting, yes. So, firstly, what are the major circumstances that demand an email to be formal? Your audience. Firstly, who are you sending this email to? If you're going to be sending it to, let's say, family or friends, you're not going to make it a formal email, right? You will more likely make it a formal email for a colleague or a boss or a professor, something of the sort. So your audience, basically your receiver, whoever you're sending the email to, is firstly the reason behind sending a formal email, depending on who you're sending the email to. Secondly, character. So this character means your personality, your personal character. What kind of image are you trying to portray in front of your sender? Do you want them to think you are more laid back and more laid back and casual as a person, or do you want them to think you're like a very serious professional? So the way you form your message will convey that to them about how to talk to you and how to approach you as a person. So if you send a very formal email, a very formally worded email, they will know you're someone who is a bit on the serious side, or who is someone who is a very formal kind of person, right? So character, what kind of image do you want to portray before someone else? And thirdly, of course, the reason for your email. So if you're sending an email for a professional reason, you're sending a report, you're sending some kind of presentation, whatever it is that you're sending across, if you're sending it for professional reasons, then of course the email that you send will also be professional in nature, right? You're not going to be sending a formal email through you're not going to be sending an informally worded email that you would send to a friend for professional reasons, correct? So these are your three main reasons for the email. Your elements of a formal email: always write a subject line. Firstly, never send an email in a formal setting, especially if you're sending across a resume. Okay, this coincides with that. Write something in the subject line, because working professionals who have professional email accounts do get a lot of emails. They might get a lot of resumes, as we discussed yesterday, right? We discussed how many resumes these people get. So having a subject line will make your email stand out, because it mentions why you have sent an email. So for example, if you're sending a resume for a particular internship, you can always write it in your subject line over there. Resume to apply for XYZ position, whatever it is, right? So that way, when the person is going through their email or through their unread messages, your subject line will at least capture their attention. They'll open it to see what the message is about, right? Rather than just like a blank subject line. So always put in a subject line. Secondly, the greeting. Use something formal. Don't say something casual like hi and hey or something. Basically, don't refer to the person as you would refer to a friend. Say something, refer to them as Mr., Mrs., Miss. You can say dear or something, or hello. If you know the time of the day when they might be opening the email, you can also say good morning, good evening, etc. So keep it formal and keep it civil. Don't try to get very friendly and casual with someone in a formal thing. Yeah. Thirdly, the main body of the email. So this is where everything, the main meat of your email is, right? So as we discussed earlier, depending on the character that you want to show, the people that you're trying to, the situation in which you're sending the email, and the people that you're sending the email to, that forms the main body of your email. Firstly, in a formal setting, if you're sending across an email, you obviously have something important or something particular you want to talk about, right? You're not going to be sending an email for time pass. So you have something in your mind that you plan to talk about or you plan to share with your receiver, right? So keep your email concise and to the point, and keep like only write relevant and important information in the email regarding what you're discussing. Don't give extra unnecessary background information that is not necessary, that's not necessary, right? Also check for spelling errors, grammatical errors, etc. Make sure your email is grammatically proper, it is concise in nature. Does everyone know what Grammarly is? Guys, does everyone know what Grammarly is?
Yes, ma'am.
Grammarly.
Grammarly,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Is
Um,
it an app
it is an app. It
for
is a,
grammar correction?
yeah, for grammar and overall correction. So again, this is something no one had told me at 18. So just like I gave you that LinkedIn tip to yesterday, I'm giving you this today. If you're ever writing anything formal in nature, you're writing any kind of what do we call it, any kind of academic paper, something which requires you to have, you know, proper grammar, thoda concise language, etc. If you download Grammarly onto your laptop or your whatever it is, I think they even have a phone app. If you download it onto it in your laptop especially, it works as an internet extension, and in general whenever you are typing even an email or even on Google documents or something, it automatically highlights small mistakes that you must have made in punctuation, spelling errors. It gives you certain suggestions what you could be doing differently.
Yes.
So download and use Grammarly if you're ever if you're ever unsure about your language or anything. I still use Grammarly just to make sure that everything I've written is properly written. So it gives you a good idea of of how many mistakes you've made. Yeah. So yeah, this is just like a tip on my end. No one had told me about Grammarly when I was your age, so I'm just letting you know. Okay. So in the body of the message, okay, in the body of the message, just try to keep your writing concise. Try to keep the information you give should just be the basic essentials, and bullet point or number things where it is okay to. Like, unnecessarily don't write a paragraph. If you can concise the paragraph to bullet points, or you can concise them to numbered points, because that's faster to read. Okay, the main goal with the body in a formal setting is to give the maximum information you can, while taking up less time of your readers, so they can just go through your email as soon as possible, right? Lastly, the closing just basically summarize, if you can, what you have written, and also end it with something along the lines of, please let me know, like if you've, let's say, sent across a resume, so at the end, I will be looking forward to your response, or please let me know about your decision, or something along those lines. End the email with that, so that it leaves the what do we call it, it leaves the opportunity for future conversations open, with the person that you're talking about, and they know that you're expecting a reply in return as well. And lastly, the signature. So sometimes I think there is a function or an option in Google where you can put, you can already put like a default signature, like you can make a signature and put a default signature. So under every email that will come, like if you put your name and your mobile number as a signature, then under every email they will automatically put it in. But if you haven't done that, then you can obviously end it with something like sincerely or best regards, and include your full name or any contact details you want to. You must have seen this kind of signature or this kind of ending even with formal letters that you learned in school. Yeah. Then of course check your sending info. If you are working in a proper corporate firm, try making a separate email from what you had when you were like a teenager. So many people, many of us when we were teens made very weird sounding email IDs. They would put the word cool to call themselves cool in the email ID, and some would call themselves pretty or whatever it is. Don't use that email ID for a formal setting. Make a new email ID with a more adult sounding this, like just your name and the basics. Like don't put all those descriptors. That is fine when you're young, but when you're older and working, it doesn't sound very good, right? So just check yourself, try and make a different email ID for formal purposes. Again, I already discussed this. Choose one topic and stay on it. Be clear about the topic you want to talk about, and stay and be concise about the way you form your message, right? Then thirdly, select the right font. This is similar to report and resume writing. Select the right font. Basically, select a clean font which doesn't have any extra decoration on it. Times New Roman is the most common form in academic and formal writing, like I already mentioned last time. You can also use Arial also. If you can use Arial as well, that's also a very clean font to use. So use a right font which is not too fancy and just like makes your message come across as clear. Pay attention to your structuring. Basically, your structuring should go introduction, message, introduction, body, conclusion. So so in the first line you introduce yourself. If you're talking to someone, sending an email across for the first time, you introduce yourself, what your name is, why you're sending an email. You give them a purpose for sending the email in the introduction. In the second one, for example, again, I'll give you examples which I think are more relevant to your age. If you're sending across an email for like you're sending across a resume, then your introduction will include your name and the fact that you're applying for this particular position or this particular internship. Then the body of the email will include why you think why you're interested in this position, why you think you would be good for this position. And then conclusionary statement would basically be, this is why I think I would be good for this position. I'll be looking forward to your reply, your response, etc., etc., right? So I think that currently, in terms of formal emails, you guys are not going to be sending anything big corporate wise, but you might, at some point start applying for internships and other things. So knowing how to form an email in a way that makes you sound mature and formal as a person will be very helpful for you. And proofread, I already discussed this. Proofread for grammar. Proofread basically means go through your email a few times, make sure, edit it wherever necessary. Proofread for grammatical errors, spelling errors. Make sure that the person you're sending the email to is who you want to send the don't accidentally send it to the wrong person. So double check, make sure to edit if it is necessary to edit. This is why I suggested that you look into Grammarly, because Grammarly is something that you can always, paste whatever you're writing. You can always paste it onto Grammarly and they will, help you edit it down. So that way the proof will be sorted out. Okay. And now lastly, let's just look into an example of a formal email. Yeah. So they have put a subject line, our apologies on your recent order. Of course, your subject line should just be, again, your subject line should be very concise, and it should just in one small phrase inform the person what the email is about. It doesn't need to be like this long sentence which tells the person everything there is in the email. If you write everything in your subject line, then what are they going to read the email for? So the subject line should just basically give a trailer as to what the email is going to talk about. Okay. So dear Mr. Shah, look at the greeting. Dear Mr. Shah, I'm very sorry to hear about the delay in your order and I empathize with your frustration. I am following up with our team now to see if there is any way we can expedite the process. Expedite means, does anyone know what expedite means? Does anyone know what expedite means?
It means fastness.
Yeah, fasten. fasten or quicken the process. Okay, so they are working on quickening the process. I am also making efforts to ensure this situation never happens again. In the meantime, I am prepared to offer you a partial refund on your order and a discount of 15% off on your next purchase with us. Please accept my apologies and let me know if there is anything else I can do for you. You see how concise and small this email is? It gets the point across, it addresses the issue properly, and it also, while apologizing for the problem, also provides solutions for the problem. Yeah. So it is a very short email, but it gets the point across and it makes sure that the reader is able to understand in the most basic language as to what they are trying to convey to them, right? And then the way they have concluded it. If there is anything else, let me know if there is anything else I can do for you. As I said, it leaves the opportunity for further conversations open, because it lets the person know that they can approach you if there is something they want to talk about. Okay, sincerely. And then lastly, you can put in your full name. Everybody understood email as well?
Yes,